Hey friends, Ash here with gentsscents. Hope you're doing really well. Today I'm going to be going over with you guys 10 of the fragrances that I'm looking forward to wearing the most this summer. And this is the designer edition of the list. There will be a niche/indie edition out before too long also. I'm going to do a couple honorable mentions, so there's a bunch to talk about. Let's just jump right into it and start going over these fragrances. Hopefully it's heating up wherever you guys are. Well, assuming you're in the northern hemisphere anyway. If you're in the southern hemisphere, hope your winter is going well. Summertime obviously means more fresh fragrances, more blue fragrances, aquatic fragrances, whatever you want to call them. Typically when it gets really hot outside, I don't wear as many fragrances that are very rich and deep, and obviously that's going to be reflected here. So let's start it off with some honorable mentions. Starting off with this one, Lacoste Yellow. Now this does not get a whole bunch of love, and I understand it's a Lacoste sporty fragrance. It's not all that expensive, it's not complex, it's pretty simple, but guess what? It smells good, easy to wear, and I like it. It's got tonic water, grapefruit, red apple, and vetiver as some of the notes in the fragrance. And this one is one of my go-to dumb reach casual fragrances when it's really hot outside. And there's really not a ton to say about it. It's just nice, it's fresh, it's fruity, it's clean, it works. Lacoste Yellow. And the next and last honorable mention for this list, Set Sail St. Bart's from Tommy Bahama. This one you can find off and on in TJ Maxx, Marshalls, or Ross's across the US. Doesn't cost all that much on discounter websites online either. And it's one of my go-to cheap vacation scents. It's got lime, tequila, sea salt, and aquatic notes as some of the notes in the fragrance. And this one just reminds me of being at the beach, being somewhere warm, wearing a tank top. You can spray this stuff on 50 times and it's not gonna matter because A, it's inoffensive, and B, the performance sucks. Yeah, that one's not so good. That's because it's an eau de cologne and it doesn't cost all that much, so I'm gonna let it slide. Bad performance, no big deal. A lot of people will say this smells like Virgin Island water from Creed. Doesn't smell exactly like that fragrance, but gets me in a similar sort of mind, so I can see where people are coming from. Let's go ahead and get into the top 10. Some of these are gonna be fragrances I featured in previous top 10 summer lists, and some of these are gonna be new. Yeah, that's crazy, right? Taste changing a little bit year over year, wanting to wear different things. Weird. All right, number 10. Greenwood from D Squared. It's got lemon, vetiver, ambroxan, and cedar as some of the notes in the fragrance. A lot of people would consider Greenwood more of a spring and fall time fragrance. But for me, I think it's one of those fragrances that it's just about year round. It is gonna be more of a fresh, modern, woodsy fragrance. You could probably tell that when I said ambroxan is one of the main notes in the fragrance. This stuff is not too heavy, but at the same time, it's not overly light. It has a nice citrus touch off the top, which is gonna make this work pretty well in high heat situations, as well as during summer evenings. It's really versatile, it's got a touch of class to it, but at the same time, extremely wearable, very easy to pull off. A lot of people may bust on that one because it's not really overly unique, and I get that. But as far as just being an easy to wear, clean, woodsy scent, that's very good. Okay, number 9. This is one that got dunked on a bunch when it came out. And I dunked on it too. Yeah. This one caught a bunch of hate, a bunch of people said it was crap, and upon further review, it is still generic, but it's really, really easy to pull off and is a big compliment puller. It's Loam Le Parfum from Yves Saint Laurent. It has amberwood, lemon, ozonic notes, and cardamom as some of the notes in the fragrance. If you want to break this down in the simplest of ways, this smells like you took Yves Saint Laurent Loam, the original, and mixed it with Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Parfum. So basically what you've got here is a Frankenstein's monster of some other Yves Saint Laurent fragrances, some of their biggest ones, mixed together and stuffed inside this bottle. If you're looking for something hyper unique, this is not it. Full stop, it's not. But if you're looking for something that is gonna be an attention grabber, that is easy to pull off, that everyone will like, that is this, yeah. I don't take back anything I said about that one being generic or uninspired. Don't take that back at all. But I did overlook maybe a little bit how extremely versatile it is. And like I've said, sometimes fragrances are made just to be worn. They're just made to be mass appealing. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. All right, number 8, Varvatos Artisan Pure, making another appearance. It's got citrus, ginger, woods, and petitgrain as some of the notes in the fragrance. Actually a good amount of citrus. And this one has a really, really clean, fresh feel to it. Almost smells like there's a dose of white florals in here as well. In daytime situations in summer, you can pull this off anywhere, anytime, any place. It's clean enough and sophisticated enough that you can wear it to the office, you could wear it in more formal situations, and at the same time, it is a fantastic casual fragrance and a good attention grabber as well. This is one of the better fragrances that Varvatos has. Lately, it has come into stock and out of stock at discounters, which seems to be par for the course for a lot of fragrances from Varvatos nowadays. The scent is fantastic. I own 2 bottles of it, and I've worn it a bunch since it was first released, and here it is on another summer top 10. Number 7 from Salvatore Ferragamo, Acqua Essenziale Blue. This one has lemon, lavender, tonka, and ambroxan as some of the notes in the fragrance. This one was done by Alberto Marias, and I actually picked this up years ago at a TJ Maxx. I believe at the time I paid maybe $15, 20 on the high end. It was really, really, really cheap. Didn't really expect a whole lot from it. And as I've worn it over the years, I've grown to appreciate it a lot more. It doesn't smell exactly like Versace Dylan Blue or Dior Sauvage or Bleu de Chanel or any of those heavy hitter blue fragrances, but that is exactly where you would slot this one in. It is that style of scent. And to an extent, you could almost say that this is like a slightly more grown-up version of something like Dylan Blue. It retains that compliment factor, it retains that versatility, and it's at a lower price than all of those fragrances I just mentioned. And when you factor in all those facets, it makes this a really attractive fragrance. You can spray it on heavily in pretty much any situation and it's gonna work, and you know that you can replace the bottle for like 30, 35 bucks, sometimes less. Again, we're talking discounter prices in the US when I quote that price. So Acqua Essenziale Blue, fantastic blue fragrance for a good price. Great stuff. It's gonna take me to number 6, which is from Ralph Lauren. It is Polo Deep Blue Parfum. This has sea notes, ambroxan, yet again, cypress, and green mango as some of the notes in the fragrance. And this one is a really salty aquatic fragrance, a salty blue aquatic fragrance. Now I know the most intriguing note of the ones that I listed off is green mango. It's not really something you see all that often. And while it's there and it does smell nice, I wish it had a little more oomph to it. I wish that mango really, really shone through. Instead, this is mainly a fresh, clean, sea salty kind of fragrance. And it does have a little bit of that oceanic vibe that some people may smell and be like, oh, you know, it's a little briny. Don't know if I can deal with that. For me, it smells really good. Of the Polo Blue fragrances, I would say that's gonna be your best bet as of right now. Some of the Polo Blue fragrances are very, very boring, very generic nowadays. That one, thankfully, stands apart a little bit. Number 5 is from Azzaro, and it is Chrome Aqua. This stuff is great for the price. Sea notes, basil, grapefruit, cypress, and mint are some of the notes in the fragrance. And for me, this is one that's pretty much a year-round scent. I know that it's really made for summer wear, but if you do own this, give it some wear in the winter time. It might surprise you. It takes on kind of an icy, fresh feeling in the winter. It just smells amazing. That being said, obviously, it works great in summer. Yes, it's an aquatic fragrance, a watery fragrance, but it has this fantastic green edge to it that really livens up the scent. That is my favorite chrome flanker that I own. It's not close. Chrome Aqua is fantastic, and for the price, it is a hit. Number 4 is one that I have worn to death over the years in the summer. It is Dior Homme Cologne. It has bergamot, musk, and grapefruit blossom as some of the notes in the fragrance. It smells a little bit like an iced lemonade when you first spray it on. You'll see that talked about all over the internet. If you want an inexpensive alternative to this, you could go with Jimmy Choo Man Ice. Not the exact same as this, but in a similar vein, a similar style. The performance on this, not great. But what do you gotta do? It's kind of a trade-off. You get that energizing opening, that brisk blast when you first spray it on, and in return, the fragrance says, hey man, I'm glad you like that opening. I'm gonna see myself out. I'll see you later. And then you say, no, 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 not so fast. And you hit yourself with another 15 sprays. Like St. Bart's from earlier, you can pretty much bathe in that. You can douse yourself in it. Nobody is gonna say anything about that because it smells so pleasing. That is one of the least offensive fragrances I think I've ever smelled. And that scent is so good in really high heat situations when you're moving around, getting your body heat up, because it extends that performance a little bit. So Dior Homme Cologne, number 4. Love this stuff. We've made it to the top 3, and all 3 of these have blue bottles. Number 3 is from Narciso Rodriguez. It is Bleu Noir Eau de Toilette Extreme. It has musk, citrus, ice, and woods. This one, enormously versatile and likable. Big attention grabber, big compliment puller, but it has this nice refined edge to it. Maybe you could say it's like a blue fragrance with a little bit of maturity to it instead of going overly sweet and youthful. Now at the same time, it is still absolutely usable by younger guys as well. This one has more of an emphasis on musk instead of amber woods or ambroxan, which is much more common, or even woodsy notes. So here you're getting a fresh, clean, white musk mixing together with that iced citrus off the top. It is a great scent and pretty overlooked. Number 2 from Giorgio Armani, Acqua di Gio Profondo. This one's got sea notes, it's got citrus, mineral notes, rosemary and cypress. I have Profondo Lights. I've done a first impression on that one, but I still prefer this. They're fairly similar scents. It's just overall, Profondo works better for me. So that's why it's at number 2 and Profondo Lights is not on the list. This is, at the end of the day, Acqua di Gio. So you know what you're getting. You're getting a fragrance that pretty much everybody is gonna love, but at the same time, you're trading in some of that uniqueness. This is completely unscientific, but I would bet you that more people have smelled the original Acqua di Gio, that DNA, than every other fragrance on this list combined. And when you smell this, it does have that Acqua di Gio DNA. So that's what I mean. You're gonna wear this and people are gonna go, ooh, that smells good. That's Acqua di Gio, right? Something along those lines. It smells familiar to me, something like that. Profondo is basically Acqua di Gio taken and modernized once again, this time given a little bit of a green twist, and smells really good. Yeah, smells fantastic. And that takes me to number 1. And the fragrance that I want to wear the most this summer, and that I have been wearing a pretty good amount actually, Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Forever. It's got grapefruit, violet leaf, musk, and vetiver. That's some of the notes in the fragrance. And I love the opening of this fragrance. It is sick. And if you disagree with me, you're wrong, sorry. The grapefruit's a very realistic and rindy, kind of sweet and sour at the same time grapefruit note. And some people may not enjoy that because they don't like the sour part, the slightly bitter part of that grapefruit, but for me, it makes it way more interesting. Some of the light blue flankers that came out before this one, Italian Zest and Sun, for example, not a really big fan of the way they did citrus in those. Doesn't smell realistic, just kind of sweet and synthetic. And here it is done in a completely different way and it works so much better in my opinion. As it dries down, you get this nice clean vetiver note, gives it a masculine tinge. It's a great release. Light Blue Forever is great. I did not expect it to be. I thought it would suck. Just like the last 3 flankers in the light blue line for me. I didn't like them. Then this one blew me away. So Light Blue Forever, actually a very easy and comfortable number 1 for me this year. There we go. My top 10 summer fragrances, technically 12 with the honorable mentions for 2021. I will leave a link in the description to each one of these fragrances, so if you want to check them out, you can do so down below. As always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.